Hey folks, Lester here, and welcome to the JL Ranch. Today we're going to set up something for our cows, one of our fly and flying insect preventatives, and I'm going to show you how we're going to set that up. Let me flip my camera around and show you where we're at and what we're going to do here. So I've come over into the lot. This is the space that we have when we need to do any kind of pinning or medical vet visits, vaccinations and stuff on our cows. We've also had a few cows here, like Chuck, for example, when he had his procedure done. And what we're going to do is open up this gate right here, and I'm going to drive a feed buggy inside the lot. You heard me right. I'm going to drive a feed buggy into the lot, and I'm going to hopefully park that feed buggy. This may be a little bit mushy here, a little bit mucky and mushy, but I'm going to attempt to park that feed buggy somewhere right up through here somewhere. And what we're going to do then is come by and we will put my sock. Guys, I have a really big sock. I mean, it's huge. And I'm going to douse it down with a fly preventative. I think that you guys all saw it last year. Do I have it here somewhere? Is my sock still? Sometimes I'll take the sock and just leave it hanging. I have that sock put away, but what I like to do is hang that sock. I can hang it between here and here, or I might put me a couple of new posts possibly and hang it somewhere through here. So every cow who wants to come up and have a bite from that feed buggy, they have to walk underneath my sock. And that sock will rub down their backbone. It'll be doused down with a fly and a flying insect repellent. So it's a really neat way for us to treat our babies and keep them free of flying insects and pests. And so what I also like about this idea of parking the feed buggy inside here is that even though you're going to think that it's too congested and they might end up getting themselves hurt, I really need to have a way to close off the feed buggy so they don't just sit around eating on the grain all day long. We have too much beautiful green pasture out here, and we want to keep our cows active. So the suggestion from the folks who use feed buggies is to move it back and forth off and on your pastures. Leave it on a day, take it off a day. Make your cows get up and work. And that would be easier for some folks, but I have a hard time getting out to my pastures and moving those feed buggies because I do it by myself. But I do think that by pulling that feed buggy into here, we'll make it to where the cows can come in a few at a time, eat what they want, walk back out. They always eat in kind of a pecking order, so you know which cows will always eat first. But not to worry, every cow will have a chance to come in, and when they do, they'll have to walk underneath my sock. This ought to be fun. I know that you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. If you're still watching up to this point in the video, thank you. Only those who probably have seen the sock in action will know about this special sock. And it's not that sock. If you're thinking about that sock, that's a whole different story. We've done forgot about that sock. That was a long time ago, y'all. That was a long time ago. Now, my number one concern, to be honest, is will my truck pull this feed buggy all the way up through that lot, even though the ground is pretty saturated. It's been very wet, had a lot of rain lately. And this is a very heavy load, especially on this 1500 truck. But we're going to try this. Stella, you guys need to hold on back there, okay? Can you all just hold on? I'm not going to make you buckle up, but I'm just going to tell you guys to hold on to your butts. And we're going to put this thing in four-wheel drive. Four-wheel drive right there. All right, four-wheel drive gauge is in, we are in four-wheel drive mode. Now, I'm already out in the pasture and I'm doing pretty good as of now. If I do feel myself starting to bog down, I will just stop right where I'm at and disattach this trailer where it sets. I don't have to do this, I would just like to. But as of now, we're making it. We're making it. I'm not even putting any roots in the ground. The cows are all back on the far back of the pasture. Okay, this is where it's gonna get a little bit hairy, friends. This is where it gets a little bit hairy because I gotta really move. I gotta get a running start. You guys hold on to your butts. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right, at this point, I'm sitting here sliding. This is where I will stop it. This is where I park it. Now, even though I'm slipping and sliding in the mud, not to worry. Once I disattach this over here, I'll be able to get myself right out of this thing. Now, I do have a little bit of a concern. There's not a whole lot of space over on this side for the cows to eat. I will move this here swing gate out of the way. That will give them about 4 to 5 feet on this side. We have a lot more room over here. I hate the fact that that post is right there. That might be a small issue, but I don't think it will be. What you need to have, though, is room for other cows to move around, so no one's going to get trapped into a corner. That's when things can happen. That's when you have accidents happen. When cows get pushed into a corner and they have nowhere to go. But the way I have it setting, no one will be pushed into a corner, so we're not too concerned about any of those types of accidents. And then, like I was saying, the beauty of this is that I can close this gate and keep all the animals off the lot altogether if I need to. And that will help them not overeat off of our feed buggy. All right, the feed buggy has been disattached. Now, the moment of truth to see if my truck will be able to pull itself out of here. Are you all still holding on? Everyone's still holding on? Okay. Kip is like, I don't know about this kind of a lifestyle. Hold on. We are absolutely sliding a little bit, but don't worry. Here we go. You guys just hold on to your bow, boy. That was fun. That was very exciting. I hope you guys thought that was very exciting because I did. Okay, very, very exciting. Exciting times. Truck got a little bit muddy. We're not concerned about that. And the reason we were sliding so much is because of all of this loose hay. The loose hay makes it really sloppy in here. All right, like I was saying though, I'm gonna move this swing gate out of the way. We don't need it over here. And that will allow the cows that come up a chance to come in and get a bite to eat and walk right back out. And then any cows, like the younger ones who end up having a bite to eat, when a bigger cow comes in, they can simply run right up and loop around and kind of hide out in that corner over there until the bigger cows leave. There's also room to come around back behind everybody over here. So I'm not too concerned right now with the amount of space we have around the feed buggy, but I'll keep an eye on it. And if I have to move it backwards, then I will. I can get the tractor if I need to and possibly move it more into this little nook over here, which allows a lot more space on all sides. Main thing is I have to have a way to get my animals to come through one section where they have to cross under that sock. So the gate on the front side is closed and latched, so the horses cannot come over and eat on the grain buggy. All right, so this here is what we call a sock. And what we're gonna do is be able to set this thing up so that I will douse it down with an insect repellent, a liquid form. It's an oil-based, so it'll saturate into the sock. What I will do is use my eye bolts that I have set here on top of these posts, and I'll tie this sock along through here. So whenever the cows come up to get a bite to eat, they're going to be forced to walk underneath that sock. I'll hang the sock low enough so that that oil will run down their backbone and it will absorb into them. It's made for that, and it will help repel a lot of the insects that harass them this time of year. So here is the permethrin. It's a pour-on, and all that we do is take our sock and put it into some kind of container and just saturate this sucker. Just let that permethrin set into it. Usually I buy 1 bottle of summer, or usually spring. We're not so bad during the summer, but it does control lice and flies. Flies are our biggest issues. But I will saturate this thing a couple of times, let it all soak in, move my sock around a little bit here and there, allow it to get all over it, and then we'll start hanging my sock up. So when you do come back out to reapply this stuff in a couple of weeks, you don't have to take the sock entirely down back into the bucket. You get you a pump sprayer and you put that permethrin. You don't have to make it, it's not a solution, you don't have to mix it. You just put that permethrin to a pump sprayer and you come by and just saturate this sock. Just saturate it until you can see it slowly dripping through. And what's neat is it won't drip out. The sock will hold on to it for a while. And every time you see your cows come by and they duck and walk under it, you'll see that strip go right down their back. And that's all it takes to keep them flies repelled and ticks. So they do not make a sock long enough to extend the entire 16 foot from my post to post. So I have to add on a couple of old horse leads that I'll use to kind of help connect and stretch things across. The one thing you have to be careful of is you do not want to tie that sock so high here that your cows walk under the lead and avoid the sock altogether. So you have to let that thing hang down low enough to where your cows have to make contact with it. All right, so at this point, it's just a whole lot of tugging and pulling, trying to get that sock pulled up as high as you can, making sure to try to keep it level there or centered so that all of your cows are having to walk by and touch onto it. So what I do is I pull a little bit over here, tie it off, then go pull a little bit over there, and I raise it higher and higher. So like I was saying, it has to be higher than this, and I'll keep working on it. But what you don't want to do is get it to where all your calves are able to walk through on one side. So what a lot of cattlemen will do is they'll come by and devise a little bit of a chute system, maybe by closing a gate midway or whatever, to try to force their cows underneath here. The larger cows will do it no problem. It's the calves who will sometimes be sneaky and find little shortcuts around. They don't want to have to run that thing underneath them or above the top of them. So it takes a little bit of work here, but it's well worth it in the long run. That's about the best we can do right there. I will remind you guys that they do sell something that you can buy. If you have a hard time finding you a place to where it'll fit, you can actually buy strips of the same stuff. And you can tie those strips onto here and let them just kind of hang and dangle there. You can even attach those to this over here to make sure that as your cows walk by, it runs down their entire back and even along their side. I don't have any of those strips. I have seen them, but and I absolutely may need some through here because this is a pretty high spot. Our longhorns cannot make it through here because of the length of their horns. They'll have to end up walking through over here. But if I had me a shorter post, that might be a little bit easier. But the high post is all I have to tie to. But listen, this is something that we've been doing now for the last several years. The cows up front, it's not quite so easy. We don't really have a place for them to do that. But you know, we do have that paintball gun system where you have your little paintballs that are full of your fly repellents. And we spray them in the neck on once in a while. You've all seen us do that. And that's how we try to combat the flying pests this time of year. Of course, you all know that on occasion we'll go out and find us an old roll of hay like the one over there, and we'll light it on fire, let it smolder for 3 days, and that too can help quite a bit as far as, ridding your pastures, or at least keeping all those flying pests at bay. All right, well listen, I want to thank you guys for watching the video. It's always funner and gooder doing things with those you love and care about. And you are, in fact, the people that we love and care about the most. So thank you so much for loving us and watching. Just one more way that we keep our babies healthy and pest-free this time of year. Thank you, friends.
Don't let your troubles fester. Come watch Longhorn Lester.
Yeah, something like that.